The single most popular comment we get in our community is that people like you out there have gotten completely burned listening to so-called YouTube experts. They lose a bunch of money, and when they finally find our channel, Everything Money, they're very grateful. Paul is this show is my access to a couple very wealthy guys that have been making great investing decisions for 2 decades. And so you get a glimpse of what someone like this is thinking. Paul, give me your thoughts on people who've lost a lot of money this last 6 months in this declining market, and they don't even know why they were in some of these stocks.
This is the best thing that'll ever happen to you in your life. I'm telling you right now, the best lessons I learned was when I lost money and couldn't explain why. You have to experience that pain in order to learn more. Learning is a lifelong issue. Charlie Munger's 98, Warren Buffett's 91 or 92. They still read ferociously every single day. I am literally guilt-stricken if I do not read every single day. I love it. It's great. I'm still trying to figure out better and better ways to invest, or not necessarily forcing that, understanding my investments better where I can limit my losses, because that's a good way. And here's why. You sit here. One of the first things I'm going to explain to people, if you have a company that you buy, oh, did I just do that? I just used the marker on.
That's awesome. Too bad it wasn't a Sharpie.
I was like, my God.
Okay, let's say you buy a company for $100 and it falls 75% to $25. We have literally heard people say, oh, it only has to go up 75% more to make it back. No, it's got to go up 200%. Now you may sit there and say, no, 200%, $75. 25 to 50 is 100%. 75 is another 100%. So actually it's, 300%.
Oh my God.
There we go. Because people say it's 4 times. It has to go up 300% to equate back to $100.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. So a great investor, the best investors are managing their downside risk.
This is number one. Let's not try and gain a bunch of money. It's just, let's not lose it. As Charlie Munger says, just don't screw up like all the other idiots out there.
Psychology of Money also discusses stay in the game. And the more you avoid these, the longer you stay in the game. Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger will sit there and say, hey, apart from a few of our extreme gains, we've been pretty close to average, but they didn't have big losses along the way.
Monish Pabrai says, heads I win, tails I don't lose much.
That
right. Is the goal. Now, is that exciting? Absolutely not. Because you have to find companies that are not exciting. Being an investor, Warren Buffett will sit there and say he thinks the term value investor is redundant. A real investor is somebody who buys an investment and can sit there and reasonably determine some sort of principal protection as well as a reasonable return on their investment. When I hear of something like Bitcoin, I do not think that's an investment, because if Bitcoin price went to 0, how do I make any money? Now you might sit there and say, well, what about gold? Understood. And I understand that, and I invest in gold as well. But gold has been accepted over thousands and thousands of years as a sort of currency or a way of holding value and wealth. So when I'm going forward, I'm sitting there as an olive branch. We started this channel because we wanted to teach real investing. And we knew there'd be headwinds because we started it 2 years ago in the middle of an insane bull market.
Well, I guess at the time, Paul, is I was investing like a lot of these YouTubers are telling you to, YOLOing my money into companies I like. And you were kind of convincing me. We had arguments on the show that I didn't believe any of this stuff, value investing. And
even to this day, Seth still comes to me and goes, God, I can't believe that actually did happen, that the things you said. I'm like, listen, I'm not some fortune teller. I just have studied bubbles all through time. And going back 2,000 years, guess what? Bubbles were exactly the same 2,000 years ago as today. It's still human emotion. And humans haven't changed their emotion in the last 2. That's why the herd mentality works so well. People want to feel like they're good. They're around everybody. I was on the call today with, I always say this. I was on a call today with the voice coach that I'm trying to hire to keep my voice better. Yeah. And I said to her, well, I'm a value investor, but I'm so contrarian. My joke is, I don't believe the sky is blue, even though I see it being blue, because everybody believes it's blue. I just have to naturally say, well, if everybody believes it, it can't be true. And that's the key to being an investor. And that's the lonely road. And unfortunately, it is not fun being alone. However, the good news is that's why we have this community. If you see this community, this is our community right here. We have had over 12,000 people, I think it's over 13,000 people now, have signed up for this community. It is a community of like-minded investors. Because when I was a value investor, I was alone. Then all of a sudden I got an email from a guy named Gary Mashuris on LinkedIn and we became friends. Then Mo came involved. All of a sudden I got a few people around me, but if it wasn't for that, I'd have nobody to talk to. But we have that here. You should see the conversations that happen. Literally people like, don't worry. If you believe your thesis, the stock going down is a good opportunity to buy. Does that mean no, you still have to use it as a way of questioning your thesis when a stock goes down. I have an investment that has fallen in half. And I was just telling Mo today, man, am I wrong on this one? And I did more research and I'm like, but Mo decided on that same investment. He goes, Paul, I can't say yes or no to it, so I'm out. Think about that. And I said to him, the second he said, I don't know yes or no to it, I go, then you're out. He's like, yeah, then I'm out. I'm just going to buy it. Great. Mo and I are both value investors, but we disagree on things. Mm-hmm. He doesn't own PayPal, right? But I have puts sold on PayPal to buy it at lower prices. So my urging for you is don't give up because you've lost money. The average person watching our channel has plenty of time left to return. Remember, I've only been a value investor for like 15, 20 years. Now, granted, I think about the things I thought about in the late 90s and early 2000s. I was a value investor back then. But now I sit there and say, okay, I've got so much more time to invest. Investing is a lifelong journey. Even when you retire, Seth,
yes,
you're still going to be around for 20 or 30 more years. And guess what? You can invest your own money. We teach people how to do options to make extra money off their income through this community, right? This is part of the ongoing life process of learning. You've never learned enough.
Paul, the one thing that I think might be confusing new viewers and has confused myself is those gentlemen behind you, they say the same thing about their companies. They say when it drops, keep buying.
Well, except look at their actions. Right? This guy said that about Tesla. He said it's a $6,000 company, but it fell. And what did he say? What did he do?
Sold it all.
Sold it.
Yeah.
And then he started buying more again when it started to go back up again. That's not what a value investor does. Look at what Warren Buffett did about Apple. He goes, yeah, it fell to our sweet spot. We bought some, went back up, we stopped buying it. Yep. Occidental Petroleum, it's falling. He's buying more. That's the difference, guys. It's easy to do this. I can talk till I'm blue in the face. I can repeat every Warren Buffett truism in the world. But there's a reason why people attack us. There's a reason why all these guys say I'm not a value investor. There's a reason why. Because I'm calling them out for their BS. This guy right here, Stock Mo, he brags about being a financial advisor for one of the biggest financial advising firms in the world. That's literally the exact thing I would want to hear from somebody who I would not believe is a value investor. He is programmed to have career risk. So he's not going to go against the grain because he doesn't want to get fired. This is the exact, my friend Gary Mashuris wrote a great article. He said, if you were around in the early 60s, you'd have never invested in Warren Buffett. We hear Warren Buffett now, I'm like, oh, he's the best ever. Remember, there's people now saying, oh, he's too old. Literally, there's a guy in our group who loves crypto and Amazon, and he talks about how Warren Buffett's way past his prime. I
probably get that comment every single day. The question, do you think that Warren Buffett is out of his prime?
I think they asked that to be funny, but it's true. They asked that. Remember,
these people that are asking me are serious.
Yeah. So either way, until Warren Buffett's dead, I'm going to say he's not out of his prime. The fundamentals of investing are still true no matter what the asset is. Bubbles are bubbles, whether it's crypto, whether it's stocks, whether it's real estate, whether it's tulips. They're still bubbles. And what I'm offering to you, what I'm encouraging you to do is accept your losses. Trust me, I have losses too, guys.
We all do.
We all had loss in the past. I've had companies go to zero from 20 years ago. They went to zero. And guess what I did? I learned better. And that's a learning lesson going forward. We have this community here. This is an opportunity. If you like our videos, watch more videos about our 8-pillar process. It is a way of looking at companies that tell a story. I am not here to give you fish. I will never, if you want somebody who's going to tell you, go buy this, change the channel right now. I'm not that person. I'm here to teach you how to fish. I'm here to provide you the fishing pole and the bait, but you're going to attach the bait, you're going to cast it out there, and that's about all I know about fishing. So I'm sure there's a bunch of other things in fishing that you have to do in order to understand how to fish.
We need to get Paul some waders.
Yeah, whatever it is.
You should wear more camouflage with that Hermes belt. I would think.
I got camo shoes on. I have camo Crocs on.
I got them.
So this is the thing about learning and investing. It is never going to stop. And it actually excites me to think that I will be investing until the day I die. It is, to me, it's exciting because I look at it going, every year is something different. Every year, every company changes every single day because their stock price changes every day. That's the compare. It's Mr. Market. Mr. Market, this is what happens with the stock market over long periods of time, guys. The stock market will go like this over long periods of time, but this is how the prices go. Okay? Your job is, are you a buyer or seller at any given point? That is the question you're being asked. The market doesn't care if you have losses or gains. It doesn't care. It doesn't know anything about you. All it knows is what the people are telling them the demand is going to push the stock price up or down. That's it. You decide, are you a buyer or seller? And that's what we teach in this community.
If this resonates with you, take a look at this value investing strategy video we made for this year. And if this video brought you value, make sure you tickle the like button and subscribe. We'll see you next video.